Use a graphing calculator as an aid in completing the following table. I'll try not to, but we'll pull up the calculator if we must. Y equals sine x plus 5. This tells us that the midline is exactly at 5. And so does this. And so does this. And so does this. Now, for any sine function, you have the midline, and then the amplitude tells you how far away you get from the midline. This first function has an amplitude of 1. That tells you that starting from 5, it has hills 1 unit high and valleys 1 unit deep, which means the maximum it'll ever get to is 5 plus 1, and the lowest it'll ever get to is 5 minus 1. Okay? You start from the midline, and then the amplitude tells you how far up to go and how far down to go. Here, amplitude of 4. The highest you'll ever get is going to be 5 plus 4. The lowest you'll ever get will be 5 minus 4. If your amplitude is 2, that means you start at 5, and from there you go up 2 units, 5 plus 2, and then you go down 2 units, 5 minus 2. And here, the amplitude is still 2, so same thing again. Notice how they kept tweaking the contents in here, and it didn't matter at all. These things have nothing to do with the midline. They have to do with how fast the waves are, and like their frequency or their period, and with their phase shift. But these things don't affect the maximum and minimum. Max and min are vertical stuff, and the phase shift and frequency are horizontal stuff, so they don't affect each other in any way. So for the function, does the midline value depend on... What does it depend on? The midline value depends on d. It is d. And it depends on none of these other things. So does the midline value depend on A, B, or C? Nope. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to scroll my view for you. For the function, they said, does the midline depend on A, B, or C? The answer is no, it doesn't. The midline is D, and it doesn't care what any of these other values are. And can you find the midline using only the maximum and minimum? Sure you can. We've been doing it for a while. Your midline is your maximum value plus your minimum value divided by 2. In other words, it's the average of your max and min.